Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, and I believe that the right book at the right time can change lives, and that all readers should read children's literature, especially adults. So that's what we do here on the KidLit Love podcast. We celebrate all things children's literature: picture books, early readers, middle grade, and young adult novels for readers of all ages. In each episode, we'll talk with children's literature authors and discuss their books, their hopes, their dreams for readers, their writing process, and much, much more. Whether you're an adult reading to their inner child or connecting the young readers in your life with fantastic books, you've come to the right place. So grab a notebook to build your TBR, and let's get to today's episode of KidLit Love. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the KidLit Love podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your KidLit loving host, inviting you back to another bookish conversation with a children's literature author. Today, we're lucky. I'm talking with Rachel Rene Russell and Nikki Russell, the mother-daughter team behind the incredible series DORK Diaries. This #1 New York Times best-selling series of 16 books has delighted middle grade readers for years. The series follows Nikki Maxwell as she chronicles her life through text and art, her move to a new school, her battles with Queen Bee Makenzie, and her zany adventures with her BFFs by her side. Rachel and Nikki are here today to celebrate their newest release. Book 1 of DORK Diaries, Tales from a Not So Fabulous Life, will be published in full beautiful color for the first time. This book has a special place in my reading heart, and my daughter's too, and I can't wait to talk to both of them about it. So let's get right to the episode. Rachel and Nikki, welcome to KidLit Love. I'm so excited you're here today.
Yes, we're even more excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for having us, Stephanie.
Absolutely. As I mentioned off camera and I kind of previewed a bit in the introduction, these books have a special place for me in my reading heart. I've lost count of how many times I've recommended them to students, to my own daughter who has some of them sitting up there on her shelf. And for someone who has written religiously in a diary and a journal since she can ever remember, it's just, oh, it just speaks right to me. So I'm so excited to jump in. But before we talk more about DORK Diaries and about the beautiful color version coming out, tell us about you. I'd love to hear a bit from the two of you about this journey you've taken through children's literature.
So, by profession, I am a consumer bankruptcy attorney, and I've been practicing bankruptcy law probably maybe 15, 20 years. Um, I started writing because my two daughters, Erin and Nikki, and Nikki is my full-time illustrator for DORK Diaries, grew up and they went off to college, and I was not able to micromanage their lives anymore. So I had to find a new hobby. So I thought, well, I've always wanted to write a children's book. And growing up, Nikki and Erin had a hard time in school because, of course, I'm their mom, so I'm very, very biased. But they were basically good kids. The teachers always liked them. They were friendly to everyone, helpful. But for some reason, kids just were kind of mean to them. And I think part of the reason is that they're very, very tall for even now. How tall are you now, Nikki?
About 5'11".
Exactly. So as children, they were always the tallest kids in the class. And finally, I think by the time Nikki got to high school, the male basketball players started catching up with her. Yeah. So that's how tall she was. So I think probably because, and their dad's really tall, so they got it from him more so than me. But they were always teased, and I think probably most of it was because they were so tall. And when I decided to write a book after they went off to college, I thought I wanted to write something that was inspiring and that reflected some of the experiences and the difficulties they had with mean girls and kids teasing them and not getting invited to birthday parties because they weren't considered cool enough and all of that. And basically, DORK Diaries is a book series about being bullied and overcoming a bully and finding the best inside of you and being confident and trying to find true friends. So we make it funny and wacky and dramatic. And we got Makenzie the Mean Girl. So a lot of times when people read it, they don't really know that's what the story, that is what the story is really about, is, Nikki being bullied and overcoming it and becoming confident in herself. So that was my inspiration, was my two daughters. Nikki gave me permission to name my main character after her. And the reason why, and that's kind of weird, because usually the first thing they tell you is don't name all your characters after everybody, But when I was writing Nikki Maxwell with the name Nikki, obviously, it pulled at my heartstrings because my own daughter was called Nikki. So it made me a lot easier to write her as Nikki versus writing her as Sarah or, some other Samantha or some other wonderful name. So that's why I noticed that when I kept changing her name, it was more difficult to write her. So that's why I finally just broke down and called Nikki at college one day and asked if I could, keep the name Nikki as the character for a book I was writing. And you said,
okay, mommy.
yes, exactly. But part of it I think is psychological, because when I'm writing her as Sarah, it's, it was a little bit difficult. But when I wrote her as Nikki, oh my gosh, it was like just everything poured out of me, because I was able to channel, my daughter Nikki. That made her the Nikki. I knew Nikki Maxwell, and I knew her motivations, and I knew what broke her heart and what she loved. And like you, my daughter is an obsessive diary writer to this day. I think she started probably like when you were, maybe 4 or 5 years old. She loved Barbie dolls, but what she loved more than Barbie dolls as a child was just an old-fashioned spiral notebook that you could get for $49 at the grocery store. Just a spiral notebook. And I would buy her those, and she'd put her Barbie doll down and start writing and drawing and whatever. And this is probably like when she was younger and could not, write as well. She would just do pictures and stories. But as she got older, she started writing. And to this day, you have how many diaries? She has like the hardcover.
There are more than I can count.
Yes.
There are just so many in storage and on my shelf at home.
So that was kind of the origin story of DORK Diaries. And that is why Nikki Maxwell is named Nikki, because writing this character as the same name as my daughter just made it so much more easier to channel, what we wanted to communicate to kids.
And readers feel it. Like
I feel
it. The readers that I recommended to feel it. My daughter felt it. If you've been in situations like that, if you've been that kid who's experienced those things, like you read these books and you get it and you feel it. And now just listening to you and knowing, the backstory behind it, I understand why it's so easy to connect to on the page.
Exactly.
You just brought everything to it, and readers know that.
Yeah. And then ultimately their situation was so bad, they transferred schools. So it didn't it had a happy ending in that when they got into the new school and the new environment and whatever, it was perfect. I mean, they loved it. But it was bad enough that ultimately we had to just kind of give up and, put them in another school and kind of let them start over.
Yeah. A different kind of ending, but one where you feel better, hopefully.
Yeah, in the end. So if it's necessary for parents to pull the child or children out of a school, then by all means, that if that's what you have to do and you can do that, that's, another alternative as well. But for those that are kind of stuck in there, or if it's not quite as bad as it was because Nikki and Aaron, were getting like harassed by football players. So these were like big guys that were like almost, twice their weight in some cases. So anyway, again, the whole point of the book series is to help kids see that they're not alone and give them some coping skills to deal with the situation and make them laugh and giggle. And
laughter is good medicine. It really does something for you that helps you deal with the pain a little better.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think just the nature of the book. So Nikki, you and I share this love of journaling and notebooking. And for me, it was my safe place. It was my therapy. Like that's where
absolutely it is for me too.
Yeah.
And it just does something to me. It helps me decompress and it's very cathartic. I find myself needing it at least 3 or 4 times a month. like once a week, I need to grab my diary and write in it and just decompress.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still daily.
You're still daily. Look at you. Good for you. Yeah, everybody has their own routine. Daily is good.
Yeah.
That's great. So I am kind of actually daily myself, but it takes a different form. I call it a plannery. It's where it's a planner, but I also write diary entries inside. So I like buying different kinds of planners and putting stickers inside and reminding myself of important dates, appointments, and meetings. But I also remind myself of how I feel or write affirmations and that kind of thing. So technically, I'm daily too, actually.
Yes.
It
Yes.
just takes a different format every now and then.
Mhm. And we need to be best friends because I want to know more about this plannery. That is going to be
Oh
my
my
favorite
gosh,
word.
let me tell you, I could go on and
You
on.
made that word up, didn't you?
I
Make
did.
it up? 'Cause
Planner plus diary, plannery.
It's
I'm like,
perfect.
oh, is that like a brand? And she's like, oh no, I just made it up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
marketing.
I do. I could make money off of that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that could be a fun little spin-off project in your future. So Dork Diaries, I'm going to throw out a couple of statistics and a couple of phrases here. 55 million copies in print, 45 languages, 330 weeks and counting on the New York Times list, 16 books in the series. How? Did you envision from starting that first book, which I can so relate to because my youngest just left for college, so I can
Oh
feel you
wow.
in that space. In your mind, like, did you have an inkling of this is going to be more than a one-off book. This is literally going to change lives and kids who read it.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, probably too much information. But at the time, I was going through a divorce, and Nikki and we're originally from Michigan, born and bred, and we anyway, things are really bad. And I was again going through the divorce, and then my sister lives in Northern Virginia, and she was building a new home and had this other home that she didn't want to really put on the market because whatever year, I think it was 2008 to 2007, 2008, the economy was kind of bad and whatever. So I did have the manuscript. I was planning, we were moving to Virginia, and we are in Northern Virginia. We have been in Northern Virginia since 2008, but I was not very confident in my writing. So I thought I'll just, keep polishing and polishing. And then maybe one day I might do something. Well, during the divorce, I was having financial problems. So I thought, what can we do? Because I thought when I was coming to Virginia, I'd have reciprocity, which means if you're an attorney and there's another state, so the two states get together and they can swap attorneys and they don't like make you take the bar over. And so that's called reciprocity. So I thought I could come here, just apply, they'll verify my bar credentials in the state of Michigan, and I would just start working here. Virginia does not have reciprocity with Michigan. So not only was I going through a divorce and financially devastated, I had no job because we were relocating here, and I was going to have to be looking at taking the state bar for Virginia. And that made me panic. So I thought, what can I do to raise money? I thought, well, there's this manuscript I've been working on. So I thought if I could sell the manuscript, I maybe get $10,000, and I can use that to help Nikki and I relocate to Virginia during this divorce. So by the time I finally was motivated to actually take the manuscript and put it out there in the public and send it to literary agents, it was mainly with the goal of just raising a little money to get through the divorce and whatever. And it's a miracle to me because my divorce was finalized on May 31st, like the last day of May in like 2009, and it made the New York Times bestsellers list 1 week later.
Yes.
So it was just so wonderful. I'm like, that's the sign from the heavens. I'm supposed
That
to
is
be
right. It was meant to be.
So yes, exactly. So here I was thinking, well, I could, sell it and maybe get $10,000, and it made the New York Times bestsellers list. And as you say, 50 whatever countries and languages, and I filed my last bankruptcy in probably 2009 because it was by the time it made the New York Times bestsellers list. I wasn't like trying to commute back to Michigan until I got the bar passed in Virginia, and my life was just a wreck back then. But So Dork Diaries was kind of the savior a little bit for Nikki and I, career-wise. Could you want to talk about what you did?
Sure. So I started off as an elementary school teacher, but I always had art as a passion. I started drawing at a very young age. And like Mommy said before, I started off in little 3-ring notebooks and an ink pen. I would actually before the 3-ring notebooks and ink pen, I did like Brianna did in book 1. I would doodle on the walls
of her bedroom.
Me too. Me too.
After a fresh painting, she loved it when it was fresh paint, you know. And this is like the jumbo magic markers, black jumbo. Couldn't get a pencil or an ink pen that you can kind of maybe scrub off. She went all out.
She went all out.
Yeah. So after I realized that wasn't the way to go, it was notebook, paper, and pens. And that eventually evolved to summer art camp while I was in middle school. And so the whole time I was cultivating my love for art. In college, I majored in elementary education with a minor in fine arts. So again, I had art up my sleeve or if I could ever use it. And at that time, being a full-time illustrator was only a dream. I was just grateful to be a teacher, but I found out that the job was very, very hard. It truly is a calling. And so eventually my mom gave me this amazing opportunity. A door opened for me to illustrate for her full time. And I decided, you know what, I am going to take it because I love to draw so much and she's being so gracious with this opportunity. I will give it a try. And the rest is history. Just
We've
like
been doing this for 16 years together.
Yeah.
So, yep.
16 books, right? Or well,
actually, this 18. Yeah, we have two of the, we have like a How to Dork Your Diary. And so we have two little notebook diary type things for kids that are interested in trying to create their own diaries. We have two little workbooks that they can use too. And they do have, one of them is just a kind of a calendar diary, and it's a 3-year calendar diary because you fill it out for 365 days. And then there's a second year and a third year. Then you can go back and see how you've changed daily.
Yes.
That is our calendar book. And that's How to Dork Your Diary. And then we have, anyway, the other one is How to Make a Diary. And then there's actually the blank pages in that one for you to write your own. So 18 total, but 16 of the series books that feature Nikki Maxwell.
Wow. So what is it like working together? How does that work?
Well, I'll tell my part as the author, and then you can tell your part as the illustrator. Well, the first thing we had to do after the books did really well, I was able to buy a new home because our other house ended up in foreclosure, but we were able to buy a new home and kind of start over. So this is where we are now, is the home I bought. And I added a section onto it. So I have a nice master bedroom. But the reason we really did that is because Nikki needed an art studio. So in this house, on the other side of the house, she has a humongous art studio. It's even bigger. It's like three or four times bigger than my office here.
Lovely.
And what do you want to tell her? I'll let you tell them about your studio. All the stuff you have.
My studio has light pink walls with a light pink sectional and comfy fuzzy pillows.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
So I have a post on TikTok, our Dork Diaries TikTok site. I show everybody around the studio. So please take the time to check that out when you have an opportunity if you'd like to see what it looks like. But it's my comfy, happy space, and it's inspiring for me. It helps me do Dork Diaries because Dork Diaries is supposed to be fun and cute and lovable.
And I spent the money on this, so I'm going to brag about it. But she has a running water, sink, microwave, refrigerator. What else? Keurig.
Never have to leave.
Yeah, exactly. She has these humongous French doors, and outside is grass and woods. And I've been trying to get her to trade places with me, but she's not willing. But I did it, and she totally deserves it. She totally deserves it. But it's really cool. And like sometimes I'll go in there and like just hang out.
Yeah.
And she has a humongous like U-shaped glass desk, and she has all her video. She's a video game person too. She has her video games in there and posts. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
But it is. She did a TikTok on it, and then since it's pink, she tries to stay with pink all year round. So her Christmas decorations are pink. Her Halloween decorations are pink.
Oh, I love it.
Pink. It's just so cool because you wouldn't think of Halloween or Christmas.
Right.
Yeah, she goes all out.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
Always watch.
love, what you said. You have to stay inspired. You have to stay
Yeah.
in that space. I mean, essentially, over 16 books, you're kind of staying in this middle
Mhm.
school frame of mind for a
Yes.
really long time.
And then we're both pretty much trapped in the house because we work here 8 hours a day. So
Right.
that's why I go all out on decorations too. I have decorations for Easter, I have decorations for Halloween and fall and
Yeah.
spring and Valentine. Any excuse to put a lot of garbage all over my house to make
Yeah.
it lighthearted. I do.
It keeps the
The
energy up.
garbage
Yeah,
Yeah.
model.
well,
It's
because
good energy. It's good
yeah,
vibes.
so
It's
like
good
now it's
energy that you bring
fall.
in.
So as you can see, we have our little apple wreaths on the back. And
Yes, I do
there's
see
apple
that.
wreaths
Yeah.
back there. Yeah, and there's apples all over my house. We have
Yeah.
like probably 30 of those things all over the house. It's probably really tacky, but it makes me happy.
No,
I'm
no,
here
I love
all day
decorating for the
long. We're
holidays.
locked in the house pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And our audience here is teachers, educators, librarians. We all love that kind of decorating. So
That's
you're in
yes,
my
good
former
company.
stomping ground. So
Mhm.
I hold lots of respect and appreciation for these individuals.
Yeah. So let's talk about the new color version. And I know this is a podcast, and so listeners can't see. Um, so I want to try to accurately convey to them this isn't just taking Dork Diaries and adding color. This is literally inviting readers into what feels like this 3D colorful life experience. Like it is not, listeners, it is not what you're thinking that there's just a little simple color added here and there. It's gorgeous.
Thank
It's
Oh, thank
you.
you.
fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, so
So
I would love for you to talk about that process of going from, version one to, oh my goodness, this.
So this book has a very special place in my heart for that reason, because growing up, I always loved Disney and the beautiful color and Pixar and how it's 3D animation. And now this is just a dream come true to finally be bringing the characters to life in this special way.
Mhm.
So uh, I I admit it's very labor intensive work, but worth every moment. And I had a lot of really great references in order to nail the clothing styles and the hair, because some characters have straight hair, some have curly like me. Like Zoe's hair is going to look like this now. In
Mhm.
my, well, I will describe it because your listeners only have audio. So it will be thick. I call it frizzlicious curls,
I
where
like your new words. You have really
thank
cool
you.
She's
words.
always inventing new words.
Thank you. And then she'll have braids along her head with little strands in front of her ear. It's a very beautiful style, commonly worn by young Black girls her age in middle school. And
Yeah.
then Chloe will have this long, beautiful, um, uh, very dark brownish hair. And it'll basically be an upgrade. You'll be seeing the new and improved Chloe in full color. She's going to look so fun and so adorable. And
Yeah.
of course, Nikki, she'll have auburn brown hair, and I learned to make it look nice and glossy and like beautiful laid hair that you'd see off of a movie like Frozen or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Mackenzie's
Mackenzie.
perfection.
Yeah, yeah. So she's got long, blonde, wavy hair that she wears in different styles. And you'll also see she's got really beautiful clothing and jewelry. She is the girl with the look. She's beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, not so much.
Yeah, I also love the additional colorful touches throughout the book. So the characters, are just there, 3D, full color, come to life for us. But I also love the differences in the print. Some of the print is colored. I love the emojis and the emoticons. I loved when there was like some lipstick writing on the pages. All of those just really make this an immersive reading experience. And I am quite certain that this book especially, it could be a book that finally convinces everybody else to love writing and diary writing and
Well, thank
journaling
you.
as much as we do.
Thank you.
And if I could add one thing,
Yes.
the reason why this is the perfect timing for book one is because if you read book 15, Nikki went to Paris and she loved all the art and was, touring it. And she ended up at an art store. And at the art store, she decided to buy herself full color pencils, upgraded color pencils that an artist would use. So that was the whole premise of Nikki Maxwell buying those art pencils in Paris from a famous art store and taking them home, picking up her old diaries and then going through and coloring them. So that's kind of the whole concept too of why book one is colored in 2025, versus many, many years ago. Because she only just went to Paris like 2 years ago in her world. So that's kind of the concept too, because people will be like, well, what happened to the ink and whatever. So we've got it all figured out story-wise anyway.
Yeah.
But technically, Nikki does buy those colored pencils from the art store in Paris, brings them home. When she's like pondering, I think even in book 15, she's pondering what to do with them. And then in book 15, I think she opens up one of her diaries and goes to an ink page and starts coloring it in book 15. So that's kind of the premise of why book one is now full color.
Oh, and it's gorgeous. And Nikki, you were saying you had a lot of learning to do. Like
Yeah.
that's not visible on the page.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
gorgeous.
You want to talk
Thank
about the
you
process a
very
little
much.
bit?
Sure. So it all starts off with an ink. We take the inks from our original books and we start with flat colors. That's just the color layout of the image without any shading or sheen or anything, just plain colors. The way you'd color in a coloring book back when you were a little kid. You weren't really into shading and coloring it like a professional artist or anything. So after the flat colors, you have a color key. A color key is a rough sketch of where you're going to lay out your shadowing and your sheen. So you've got the flat colors, you've got the color key, and after you've got those two things, you finally go into the refining process of pulling all the colors together to create what you will see in the book, where they're smooth, they're shiny in the areas where the light is shining on it just so, they're shady in areas where the light is farther away, and the details are popping off of jewelry and clothing and eyes and hair and all of that.
And what I thought was always like mind blowing is that with coloring, the type of coloring she's doing, they layer colors. So like our Dork Diaries book one full color, how many layers would that be? Layers of color.
There are so many layers,
like
you lose count. Yeah. I would say maybe 300 or more.
Which means,
really?
it's like mind blowing. Exactly. So when you look at, you know what, even now you can go online, pull up Dork Diaries book one, you have to add full color in it or you're going to get our old book. And if you look at that artwork, and it's Zoe, Chloe, Nikki, and Makenzie on it, as she said, there's how many layers of coloring on it?
I would say anywhere between 100 and 300 because every little detail is colored.
And it's a separate layer so that if you want to go back and change it, you can just pull up the layer and either change the color, change I'm not an artist, so I don't know, or you can just delete it.
Wow. Okay,
and
now I have
I'm sorry. There are levels where you adjust the darkness and the brightness. There's hue, that's where you adjust the color shade. There's saturation, that can make the color brighter, it can make it duller. There are just all sorts of things. It's a whole Photoshop lesson on how to handle the colors.
And at one point, I wanted Zoe's lip color, because she's like only 14, so she's not like doing heavy lipstick. It's more lip gloss,
Yeah.
And she was able to find the layer of the several hundred layers of of Zoe's lips, and was able to pull up the shape of her lips, that it was all a certain color, and we were able to change it just with a click of I think we made it lighter, darker.
We did, with a touch of pink in it because her top is pink.
Wow.
Compliment her outfit.
So it's been a learning curve for us as well.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and reread it now just to pay extra special attention to the illustrations. Because the first time, right, those text and illustrations are working together and they're just kind of inviting you in. Now I'm going to go back and think, how many layers
Yeah.
is that one? How
Yeah,
did
I
you do? How
know,
did you do that
exactly.
one? I have a much better appreciation for that what seems like effortless beauty on the
Exactly. Yeah,
page
it's a
is
lot of
actually
work.
a lot of work. You deserve that studio, Nikki.
Yes.
Oh,
She
thank you
does. She
very much,
does.
Stephanie.
She does.
Thank you, honey.
So as you think about the new colored version getting into the hands of readers, continuing back in 2009, right, was the first group of
Mhm.
readers that got to see it. It is still just as present and now is going to just welcome a whole new generation of
Mhm.
readers to Dork Diaries. What is your hope for this new book or these new readers who get into the Dork Diary world?
I hope they love it as much as our readers have for the past 16 years.
Yeah.
So, and today's kids are probably a little savvier. Their standards are a little higher because we have to compete with social media. So you just can't like put a story out there and it's not exciting and the artwork is bland. And you're not going to sell any books. So I think the whole movement for middle grade readers anyway into graphic novels is fueled partially by the fact that they are so used to social media and all, like even the movies that are out are all like 3D Pixar. All of the standards are a lot higher for children today as far as entertainment and the quality of the artwork or the music or whatever. So I think they're a lot pickier and they want quality. So and that was part of our goal too, is that there's so many wonderful graphic novels out there and they're colored just fine, but we needed to stand out. So that's when Nikki and I were talking and we thought, well, what can we do to make Dork Diaries stand out? And her favorite type of illustration would be the 3D Pixar, whatever. So we're like, well, let's go something in that vein, more so than just, watercolor or whatever. So that's why we purposefully approached our art with the goal of blowing people's minds and
Yes.
making it phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm so glad I explained it like that to you, that it felt more like a 3D experience, because that is what
Exactly.
you were going after. And
Yes, and we wanted our artwork we wanted Dork Diaries to be different, and the way to be different is to kind of raise the bar, for
Yeah.
us anyway, as far as the artwork is concerned. So
Yeah.
that was our goal, and that was Nikki's idea. So
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. Do we get more? Book two,
uh,
book three?
you want to talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. We're working on book 2 right now. We're going to color books 2 and 3, so you can expect those coming out soon as well.
So
Wonderful.
this year will be book 1.
Mhm.
Next year will be book 2 full color, and then probably the year after that book 3. Unless we do book 2 and 3 next year, we're kind of talking about that.
Yeah.
But again, if you are interested and you love it and you buy it and you share it with all your friends, and then that will assure us more so that we will continue
Yeah.
with the full color books. But right now, I think the plan is 3. And then
Yeah.
we'll take a look at if people are loving it or not, and then make a decision from there.
Yeah.
But we'll still have all of our inked books on this. So our publisher will continue to release or republish the books that are already there. So you
Yes.
kind of have 2 choices now. We call it classic, which is the inked, and we have the new full color now.
Yeah. And now I want them side by side. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
exactly.
go back up into my daughter's shelf and take down
exactly.
those.
Yeah, you can and compare it. Exactly.
Yes, that is my plan. Now
Mhm.
you do have a gorgeous website filled with
Thank you.
so much, so many different extras and perks and for teachers. I'd love for you to tell listeners where they can find that and find you both online so they can follow what comes next.
Okay, I'll talk about our website. You can talk about TikTok. Okay. Our Dork Diaries website, we started that right at the beginning. So I think we've had our website since about 2010. And it has a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, we were wondering if we should, like kind of redesign it. But at one point, Nikki Maxwell was doing advice letters. So readers could write in, or people on the internet could write in. And then we wouldn't like directly use the child's name, but we would have a situation similar that happens at Nikki's school, and then she would give advice. So we have probably like, I'd imagine probably about close to 1,000 advice letters that are on there. And then Brandon got into it too, since he's, her crush on a guy, and there were guys were writing too with issues. So he has an advice column as well. It's just so much stuff on there. Whenever we had a new book coming out, we would talk about the book. All of the books are on there to be ordered. All of the books have like maybe 50-page excerpts. So if you are interested in a certain book, you want to know, what it's like, you can go online and read probably about 50 pages of all of the books on our website. What else is on there? Oh, music. At one point, because Nikki has a band, we released, 2 or 3 songs that were sung by my niece on there. And so it's just so much. There
are games.
Oh, games. Yes. Yeah. There are games on there. We have a dork maker. And again, the dork maker is based on Nikki's artwork, and it's inks. So you can go onto our dork maker and create yourself as a Dork Diaries character. So I always, when we're doing events for the children or at schools, I say, if you can imagine us taking you and squeezing you into a 6-inch person, and then making you look like Nikki and her friends are drawn in the book, well, you can create yourself as a Dork Diaries character using our dork maker. And that's probably the most, and we've had parents contact us and say that can they have permission to have a Dork Diaries themed party and then use the dork maker as the activity.
Oh, how fun.
Like, yes, exactly. And sometimes we'll even add, extra stuff. Like if it's a gymnast, we'll add more gymnastic stuff for them to use, or if it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's just a lot of stuff on our website.
There is. It's awesome.
You want to talk about our others? And we also have like the other social medias too, like Facebook, but we're really into TikTok, and Nikki will talk about that too.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of different posts on TikTok. We've got posts of Nikki Maxwell. We've got posts of Brianna. We've got posts that advertise our various books. And we also have posts where my mom and I are in them. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about our next book tour location and dates. Nice. And we've got the tour of my studio. And we've got
a lot of fun and silly stuff.
Yeah, lots of fun and silly zany.
We're not necessarily a demographic of TikTok, which to me is mostly like young people and college kids and maybe whatever, but we're on there trying our best and trying to
your
get
readers
are diaries out there.
A lot of your readers probably are. So they'll find
and then our demographic, so I'm very proud of this fact. We started publishing in 2009, so all the kids that were maybe 8 or 9 or 10 years old, now it's 16 years later, so they're like 26 and 27, and they're starting to get married and have their own babies, and a lot of them are keeping their books, for their children, for their children when their kids grow up. So our demographic now of readers would be, I'd say, 8 years old all the way up to our first batch of readers that are like 26 or 27 when we first came out in 2009. And they the older girls or women now do show up at our book signings and that too. So anyway, for our website is located at www.dorkdiaries.com. So basically it's just our title, dorkdiaries.com. And then for TikTok, we are same thing. Is it I think it's at Dork Diaries.
Okay.
Now sometimes you have Rachel Russell at Dork Diaries.
It's all Dork Diaries now. We changed it back.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So for website, dorkdiaries.com for the internet, and then for TikTok at Dork Diaries. Okay. That's how you can find us online.
Well, I will be sure to put links to both of those places in the show notes. And I think I'm going to link specifically to the studio visit because I cannot wait to go there myself and find that. I'll of course put links I'll put links to the books, especially this newest color version. Listeners, you just have to see it for yourself. You just have to see it for yourself. You will love it. Gosh, Rachel, Nikki, this was wonderful. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get off of our call and go tell my daughter.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Yeah, tell her we said hello and to keep reading and stay dorky.
I will.
Yeah, always let your inner dork shine through.
Yes, such beautiful messages. Thank you both so much. And
thank you.
Listeners,
this was wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the KidLit Love podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. You'll also find KidLit Love on Substack. That's where you'll find posts for each episode, monthly KidLit roundups, and an invitation to join my summer book club and go deeper into the world of children's literature. And if you loved this podcast and want more, you might like to listen to my other podcast called Get Literate. It's a podcast that explores all things books and reading, notebooks and writing to build a life you love. One more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish community of KidLit Love. Thanks for listening.